Consider the problem. A certain item is produced at the cost of rupees 70 and sold at rupees 80 on the day of production, and if not, then it is worth 0. The demand level estimated by the marketing department has the following distribution. Demand can be either of 300 units, 400 units or 500 units with the probabilities 0.4, 0.3 and 0.3. Note that the total of these probabilities has to be 1. Prepare payoff table and find the best decision using EMV. As you are aware of, it is a problem of decision theory. Let us solve it. Here the cost price is given as 70 rupees, selling price is 80 rupees, and therefore profit per unit sold is rupees 10. This is one observation. Now we have to prepare the payoff table for this. As you know, in decision making for payoff table we need to know the actions and the events. So here the events are the demand. The demand can be of either 300 units or 400 units or 500 units. So obviously the shopkeeper will keep the stock of either 300 or 400 or 500 units. So he has to decide how much stock should be kept, whether it should be 300 units or 400 units or 500 units. So that is the action or the course of action, what we call as. So this is the shopkeeper or the vendor, and he has the actions as stock of either 300 units or 400 units or 500 units, whereas the events are the demand, which is again 300 units or 400 units or 500 units, and the probabilities for this are given as 0.4, 0.3 and 0.3. 0.4, 0.3 and 0.3. So I have just entered the numbers or the data information given in the probability distribution table, which is given in the question itself. Now the job is to fill this payoff table. This whole table is known as profit payoff table. So we have to prepare it and then calculate the EMV, that is expected monetary value. Now many books have shown different methods for preparing this table, but I will explain a very simple method where no separate calculations are required. You can do the calculations directly in the table itself. Just try to understand. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes we need to fill first, and the EMV will be calculated over here in this particular row. So to fill these 9 boxes, the order should be, first we fill the diagonal boxes. Diagonal means this, this and this. This is the diagonal. Then we fill the lower part of the table, and then we fill the upper part of the table. This is how it should be done. Now let us look at the very first empty box. Here the stock is of 300 units and the demand is of 300 units. So whatever is the stock, everything is sold out. So 300 units are sold out with the profit of rupees 10 per unit. So how much profit he has made? 300 into 10, that is 3000. Now note that when you go down in the particular column, these are the columns and horizontal are the rows. So in the column, what happens is the stock remains same of 300 units. Demand increases 400, 500. But when the shopkeeper has 300 units with him, he cannot sell 400 units. So he will sell only 300. So though the demand is of 400 units, the sale will be of 300 units, and so he will get the same profit, that is 3000. Same with 500 of the demand. When the demand is 500, he is going to sell only 300 units. So he is going to get the profit of rupees 3000. In other words, when you want to remember it very in an easy way, 300 into 10, what is 10? It is profit per unit. Multiplication is done, and this number will be just copied down. In Excel you have a copy paste, so just drag down menu like that. You have to just copy down it, go up to EMV. I will explain why EMV is also 3000 units. I'll explain it later, but the simple technique is do this multiplication with 10, that is profit per unit, and the same number is copied till the last box. Now come to this box. As I told you, we have to fill the diagonal boxes first. Now it's very easy to see that 400 units is the stock, 400 is the demand, rupees 10 is the profit per unit. So 400 into 10, it's 4000 rupees is the profit. And here the demand is of 500, but 400 is the stock, so only 400 units are sold. So again copy it, 4000, but don't copy it here, just two boxes. And similarly, the profit in the very last box in the diagonal, 500, 500, this 500, that is the stock, 500 is the demand, so 500 into 10 would be 5000 is my profit. So very easily we have filled these boxes. Now we have to fill these three boxes. Now try to understand what is happening here in this particular box. Your demand is of 300 units, but stock is of 400 units. Now if it would have been the stock of 300, the person would have earned the profit of 3000 rupees. That is this situation. But now what is the stock? 400. That means how much is left over? 100 units or 100 boxes, whatever you call it, that is left over. Now when something is left over, cost price rate is gone. So 100 units with the cost price as 70 rupees. So that is 7000 rupees are lost because it is the leftover and he cannot sell it out. So 3000 goes in his pocket, but because of 100 units left over, multiplying with the cost price as 70 rupees, 7000 rupees are loss. So from where it is gone? It is gone from his pocket. So he has 3000 rupees in his pocket, but 7000 are gone from it. And I have put this arrow that indicates from 3000 you are subtracting 7000, which gives us minus 4000. Now when does he get the minus 4000 amount? When the stock is of 400 and demand is of 300. When you move to the next box, how much leftover things will be now? More 100 units more will be left over. So another 7000 rupees is gone from his pocket. So from here itself you can do the calculation and subtract 7000 rupees, which gives us minus 11000. Now negative number in the profit payoff table indicates the loss. So the first row is filled. In the similar manner, this box is also filled by simply subtracting 7000. See, the difference is everywhere 100 units. So 100 into 70, that gives us 7000 rupees is the loss because of the leftover things. So from 4000 you are subtracting 7000, which gives us minus 3000. Okay, and then the table is filled, and this is my profit payoff table which is constructed. Now coming to the EMV. What is EMV? EMV is expected monetary value, which is nothing else but E of x, which you have learned in probability, expectation, and the formula was summation of x into P of x. P of x is already given over here, and x is your payoff value, which varies. So now we are calculating the EMV for each action. See, obviously one has to decide which action to be selected. This is decision theory problem. So out of these three actions, this and this, which action to be selected? That means I must calculate the expected monetary value for keeping the stock of 300 units, for keeping the stock of 400 units, and for keeping the stock of 500 units. And that is why expected monetary values are calculated over here vertically. Now as you can see the formula, it is x into p of x. So when I am calculating for the first column, vertical are the columns, it is 3000 into 0.4, 3000 into 0.3 added plus 3000 into 0.3. 3000 comes out common. In the bracket I have 0.4 plus 0.3 plus 0.3, which has to be 1. So it is 3000 into 1, which is 3000. And that is why every time you do this calculation, the first value will be simply copied and pasted over here. Now let us look at these two boxes. So the calculation will be done now like this. You are multiplying 0.4 with minus 4000 plus 0.3 into 4000 plus 0.3 into 4000. You can do this calculation separately somewhere in the rough work using the calculator and enter the value here, or all those who know how to use the memory plus key, M plus as well as M minus key, they can do it directly from the table and write the answer here. For example, it will be on your calculator 4000 into 0.3, start from bottom. So I repeat again, on the calculator 4000 into 0.3 M plus 4000 into 0.3 M minus, I repeat again, it is 4000 into 0.3 M plus 4000 into 0.3, this is positive, so M plus again, then you have 4000 into 0.4 M minus because of this negative sign, and then at the end MRC. These keys are pressed and you get the answer over here, which comes out to be 800. Let us see the similar way of calculation in the last column. Start from bottom. Why bottom? Because there are two negative signs over here. I prefer from bottom. So it is 5000 into 0.3, 5000 into 0.3, because of plus sign it will be M plus, then 3000 into 0.3 M minus, then 11,000 into 0.4 M minus, MRC will give you this answer, which comes out to be minus 3800. So these are the EMVs calculated, and obviously it is a profit payoff table, so you want to select that particular action which gives you maximum expected monetary value, which comes out to be 3000 rupees. And for which action it is for the action 300. So this is maximum. You can just write it in the table itself, and the decision is to keep stock of 300 units, and the problem is solved. This problem can be asked in exam for 5 marks. Though it is not very easy, but I can tell you it is very, very important. Thank you.